has won. They stand at Dodger Stadium. The home team has won every game thus far in the World Series. The Dodgers trying to keep that streak intact. 2 out, no balls, 2 strikes on Rodriguez. The Dodgers lead it 3 games to 2.
The Dodgers have done it again. Another 3-game sweep in postseason activity, and this one over the New York Yankees may be the biggest one yet. And now for the Dodgers, the magic number is only 1 for that World Series championship. You stay with us. We'll show you all the highlights, post-game interviews, and a complete look at this week in the NFL. It's all coming up in just a couple of moments. I'm Jim Hill, and this is the Sunday Sports Final. Now let's take a look at this marvelous weekend by the Dodgers, because as we all know, on Friday night they had to win, because a loss would mean they'd be down 3 games to none, and no team has ever come back from that. And even with Fernando pitching, it wasn't going to be easy, but the Dodgers pulled it out.
No score, bottom of the first inning, 2 out. Righetti at the belt, checking the runners, delivers to say, fastball, a high drive into left field. Back goes Winfield, away back, it's gone.
The Dodgers jump off to a quick 3-0 lead courtesy of Ron Cey, and they would need it because this was not the same Fernando Los Angeles fans have been used to. First inning, and the telltale signs are in. Bob Watson tees off with a 400-foot home run. Fernando doesn't have his good stuff, and Rick Cerrone takes advantage.
Now the 1-0 pitch on the way. Valenzuela delivers, screwball whacked to left center field. Back for it goes Guerrero on the track to the wall. It's gone, and the Yankees lead 4-3.
Fernando walked 7 Yankees and was in and out of trouble all night, but Lasorda stuck with him. Valenzuela didn't fool any of the Yankees, and they hit him hard. Lou Piniella lines out with a runner on in the 4th inning. In the 5th, a runner at second base, no one out. He gets Rick Cerrone to strike out. Same inning, he fans George Frazier, and Fernando, who is 20, was going on 30.
He was like a real good poker player, bluffing his way through with nothing in his hand.
Fernando's given a 5-4 lead, and the Dodgers protect it. Top of the 8th inning, 2 men on, no outs. Bobby Mercer tries to bunt, but Cey makes a great diving catch, recovers, and nails Larry Milbourne, who had wandered too far off first. But in the top of the 9th for a change, it was 1-2-3.
2-2 to Piniella. Fernando ready, delivers. Fastball, got him swinging.
That contest was absolutely outstanding, but yesterday's game has been described as one of the most exciting games ever played in Dodger Stadium. Just ask the skipper, Tommy Lasorda.
What game? What game? Hey, this is who won it? Was that an exciting game? Wasn't it?
Tommy, they just don't make them like this very often. 6th inning, Dodgers trail 6-3, but not for long.
And the 1-2 pitch to Jay. Swung on, a high drive into deep right center field. Back goes Brown, it's gone!
A pinch hit home run for John Stone. The Dodgers trail 6-5. And with the Goose waiting in the bullpen, what happens next stuns everyone, including our Roy Firestone.
And Davis' 2-2 pitch, swung on and popped up. Back of first, down the line, Reggie Jackson coming in and over and drops it! And Lopes is into second base.
If the ball wasn't in the sun, I'd have caught the ball.
Just played lost in the sun.
If you knew baseball, you'd have recognized that right away instead of asking me if I up. But obviously you don't know the game, so you didn't know what was going on. If you see the way I ran at the ball like I was drunk, you didn't know what went on, and you wouldn't ask a stupid question to try to make me look like a fool.
Foolish or not, Lopes then steals third base without drawing a throw.
As a pinch hitter. And now Lopes at second, and he's going to third. The pitch is a strike. He's stolen it.
And with Davey just 90 feet away, Bill Russell drives him in.
Strike 2 pitch. Swung on, base hit. Lopes scores. It's all tied up.
We came back, Tommy Lasorda just screaming and yelling and trying to keep everybody up, but we came back and we kept coming back, getting the hits, and all of a sudden, hey, we can beat these guys.
And beat them they did. Dodgers lead 8-7, 2 outs in the 9th inning. The Yankees have the tying run at first, the winning run at the plate, but Steve Howe slams the door shut.
1-1 to Willie Randolph. Howe ready, delivers. Fastball, a high fly ball to right center. Darrell Thomas is there. He's waiting. He's got it.
I'll tell you something. These guys have given me a lifetime of thrills in 1 year. Unbelievable.
Whoever wins tomorrow is one game away from being world champions.
Now, both teams viewed today as a critical contest of the first 5 games played, obviously, because the winner would need just one more victory for the World's Championship. Well, the Dodgers won their 3rd straight game today, and you have to give them a lot of credit.
Yeah, give the Dodgers credit. They've come from behind all year, and here they are in the driver's seat. They're not accustomed to that. Maybe things will turn around for us now.
And things look good for the Yankees today at the top of the 2nd inning. After a double by Reggie Jackson, Lou Piniella sends him in with a single, and it stayed that way until the bottom of the 7th inning when the Dodgers exploded. First, Pedro Guerrero on a Ron Guidry fastball into the left field seats, and it's a 1-1 tie. And all of a sudden, you get the feeling that baseball's cardiac kids are about to do it again. And they do. Because no sooner than Pedro Guerrero sits down, Steve Yeager comes up. Again, another smash over the left field wall, and the Dodgers have the winning runs at 2-1.
Well, let me tell you, most of the time, you know, we've been doing that since, I can say since we started the first playoff, you know, we get the fans nervous and everybody get nervous, you know, but we came all the way from behind.
Magic number is 1. You know, Jimmy, it's just been a remarkable year for this ball club. Being counted out so many times, and now we're 1 game up, 1 more to go, 1 out of 2. What can you say, huh?
You know, you're part of World Series history because only 9 times have people hit back-to-back home runs in World Series competition.
That's great. That's great. I got to make something with 86 at-bats out here.
But the smiles turned to frowns in the bottom of the 8th inning when Ron Cey was hit in the head by a Goose Gossage fastball. No further word on his condition. However, he is expected to play Tuesday night. But the final out, and respectively so, goes to Jerry Royce, who went the distance. A great game by him, and the Dodgers have a 3-2 lead.
Seems the stage is set. We've got to do it. We've got to do it one more time, either Tuesday or Wednesday. Hopefully it's Tuesday.
And I think it's only fitting that the last out should go to you on a strikeout.
Well, that one belonged to me. That's the one I wanted. I've been waiting, like I said, been telling people already, 15, 20, 25 years, ever since you were a kid, waiting to win a ball game in the World Series just like that.
And when Sports Final continues, Howard Cosell really meets his match. A complete look at all the scores and highlights in the AFC and NFC, including the Rams losing to the 49ers. But first, we send the Dodgers off to New York with a few words from their statesman, George Steinbrenner.
We wiped them out in New York. They wiped us out in Los Angeles. But they didn't wipe us out like we wiped them out in New York. We really played giveaway for 2 days, okay? When you get 4 runs with our bullpen and then a 3-run lead twice in a ball game and can't hold it, then our pitchers aren't doing the job. And Ruschel and Davis didn't do the job.
ABC Sports presents the 1981 World Series. From Yankee Stadium in New York, the Dodgers and the Yankees. The Dodgers rode home one power in the West to sweep 3 games in Los Angeles and take a 3-2 lead. Jerry Royce, growing stronger each inning in Game 5, slammed the door on the Yankees 2-1. The winning margin in Game 5, this home run by Steve Yeager. The Dodgers leading 3-2. They move into Yankee Stadium in New York tonight for Game 6. It may be a chilly night in New York, but Yankee Stadium is filled, and the partisanship, I think, will be very obvious as they're trying to root their Yankees into a win so they can stay alive. It'll be a big ball game, exciting game, and this ABC Sports exclusive is brought to you by Chevrolet, who invites you to see all the good things for 1982 at your local Chevy dealers. Chevy makes good things happen. By Light Beer, everything you always wanted in a beer and less. By Gillette, makers of Right Guard Solid with Action Trigger Formula. The more you sweat, the more protection you get. And by General Electric, GE makes products that make life easier and better. At GE, we bring good things to life. Last week, when the Yankees had won 2 in a row here at Yankee Stadium and headed west, it seemed they were in total command. But they get out west, they lose 2 street fights, 1 pitcher's duel, and seemingly they're poised. question is, will they have their poise back in their home ballpark tonight? They get Greg Nettles back at third base. They get Jerry Mumphy back in center field. They've got the ballpark where they know they can win. The Dodgers, on the other hand, riding the home run, had 4. But remember, 3 of the 4 were to left center field in Dodger Stadium by Messrs. Guerrero, Yeager, and Say. The general speculation seems to be those 3 home runs might not have gone out of Yankee Stadium. And tonight it appears the wind is blowing in from left field and blowing toward right, which could further diminish some of the right-handed power of the Los Angeles lineup. So we'll see what happens as we look ahead to a night where the temperature is going to start in the mid-50s and probably go to the high 40s. The humidity is quite high, but the enthusiasm is at a fever pitch here in the Bronx as Chuck Mangione now will lend his brilliant trumpet to the playing of our national anthem. I'm sure many of you remember Chuck Mangione from his performances and the composition of much of the music that was featured at the Winter Olympic Games in Lake Placid in 1980. The umpires have had their conference with the respective representatives and managers of the 2 ball clubs. The wind is continuing to blow quite briskly and swirling considerably as we move in from the outside to the infield, and it may be a problem in moments of this ball game. To throw out the first ball tonight, the ceremonial first pitch, one of the great names in Yankee history, the little man that some say is the best to ever play his position. Former shortstop, now Yankee broadcaster, Phil Rizzuto. So the Scooters' chores are done, a rousing hand from the crowd, and we're waiting now for the Yankees to take the field as we get underway in Game 6 of the 1981 World Series.
Since departing these friendly skies a week ago, the Yankees have been singing nothing but the blues. A more cheery tune is what Ron Say has in mind, for a rainout has given him an extra day to recover. Both starting third basemen will be back in the lineup, with Greg Nettles making his first appearance since Game 2. So the rain seems a boon to both clubs. The Dodgers start Game 6 with their hard luck loser of Game 2, Burt Hooton, the last Dodger to win in the Bronx back in '77.
Well, KC was winning, Hank Aaron was beginning, one Robbie going out, one coming in. Kiner and Midget Goodell, Lou Thumper and Mel Parnell, and Ike was the only one winning down in Washington. I'm talking baseball, Lazuski, Campanella, talking baseball. The man and Bobby Feller, the Scooter, the Barber, and the Duke. They knew them all from Boston to Dubuque.
The preceding message was furnished by Major League Baseball.
Starting lineup for the Dodgers, leading off the catalyst, Davey Lopes, Bill Russell batting second, Steve Garvey batting third. Incredibly, back in the lineup, Rancé batting fourth, then Dusty Baker, then Pedro Guerrero, who authored a home run on Sunday. Rick Monday follows him, and then maybe the MVP, who knows, Steve Yeager, and finally pitcher Burt Hooton. Keith?
Tommy John has just come in now from the New York bullpen. He's took his time warming up and took his time coming in, so that's why the Yankees have not taken the field defensively as yet. So while we're waiting for them, have a look at the umpires. You'll have a National League umpire back at the plate tonight. It is Dick Stello. Dick calling the balls and strikes. American League's Larry Barnett at first. National League's Nick Colosi at second. Terry Cooney at third, American League. Down the left field line, Doug Harvey, National League. And down the right field line, Rich Garcia of the American League. A roaring thunderstorm passed through last night. When the ball game was called yesterday, it had not been raining at all, but the weather forecasters were so obvious in their prediction there would be heavy rain last night. They went ahead and called the ball game because of the wet conditions that existed from the previous day's rain. And sure enough, about 8 o'clock last night, 8 to 9, there was a huge thunderstorm that came through and pummeled the city. But today has been quite comfortable, and Bob Watson, who might be the Yankee MVP, is at first base. He's had a fine World Series, his first. Over at second base for New York, Willie Randolph. Randolph has been troublesome for the Dodger pitchers. He has not swung at a single first pitch so far in this World Series. He's really been making a pitch. At shortstop, the young man who has been quite a story for New York since Bucky Dent was hurt and done a heck of a job for them, Larry Milburn. And down at third base, the presence of this man may add a great deal to the New York fortunes before the night is done. Greg Nettles, though in batting practice, he did not hit the ball deep to the right side. He hit it well to the left side. Grave Winfield, whose bat has been relatively silent so far in this series, but his defense has been outstanding in left. In center field, Jerry Mumphrey, who disappeared from the lineup in a couple of instances that raised a lot of questions, but he's back there tonight, and they'll need him with the wind whirling around out in the huge acreage, and Reggie Jackson will be in right field. Back at the plate, it is Rick Cerrone, who has had a fine World Series, and on the mound, a master craftsman, Tommy John. The reflection on Tommy on the season and in the ball game in which he opposed Burt Hooton. He left the ball game with a 1-0 lead. Sinker ball pitcher, and Davey Lopes will lead it off for Los Angeles. Jim Palmer said it a while ago. The Dodgers have to be patient. They have to be willing to take the ball to the right side of this ballpark. It is just simply too big down the left side. Bill Russell to the on-deck circle, and we're about ready to go with game number 6. The dimensions, 312 down the left field line, but then it falls away very sharply to 387, and then 430, and then 417. Then you get back into right center. It gets shorter and shorter until you reach the corner. And so we begin. The Dodgers leading 3 games to 2. And the first pitch breaks off inside for ball 1 to Davey Lopes. Manny Mota coaching at first, Danny Ozark at third for Los Angeles. Sharp shot, Nettles at third. 1 out. We'll see whether or not that is true, because there is history to indicate it doesn't necessarily bounce. The home team has an edge. Bill Russell hitting 190 in the World Series, as you can see. There's a strike. First out was a ground ball to third. If I recall, Tommy John got 10 of the first 12 or 13 batters last week to hit the ball on the ground. That's fouls on the edge, 0-2.
Really had 14 out of the first 18, so when he has his sinker ball working, he can be very tough, and I think that's one thing we have to look for. The balls that were hit hard in Game 2 were all balls that were when Tommy was behind in the count. And it was either 3-1, 2-0, or he had to throw a strike.
You see Nettles playing his usual deep position at third, and John is outside to make it 1-2.
And we talked really in Game 2 after Nettles had made all the outstanding plays in Game 1 that you have to bunt and bring Nettles in to be successful against a guy like Tommy John.
Count holds on the foul ball at 1-2. Bunch to the right side. Randolph started to his right, comes back in time to make the play. 2 down. 2 ground balls.
And Howard, we're playing on a normal infield grass, and here you can see Tommy ahead in the count.
Number 6.
Good low and away sinker. Russell goes with it, but it's too good a pitch, doesn't get much on it. Randolph breaking towards second, easily back and makes it the throw to Watson.
Steve Garvey has been hitting well. His numbers reflected there, but he has not hit well with runners on base. Though in all fairness to Steve, there haven't been that many instances where he has had a chance to deliver with runners aboard.
I think another thing very important tonight is with the tarp being all innings. There you see manager Bob Lemon of the Yankees. With the tarp being on, a lot of times you have the moisture gather underneath the tarp. The infield will even be softer than it normally is here in Yankee Stadium tonight.
That's beat foul down the third base line. To amplify on what I just said, Garvey is 8 for 12 with the bases empty, 1 for 8 with runners on.
I think there's a fairly good explanation for that. Is when there's nobody on, a pitcher has a tendency to relax. He'll give him a little bit better.
There's one up the middle for a base hit. He just stroked it.
Exactly. And as I was saying, you get a little bit better pitch to hit, but when you get a couple guys on, you try to make the better pitch, and a lot of times the batter's anxious and will go after a bad pitch and end up making an out. And here you see a ball up in the strike zone, and Garvey, as we've seen all series, goes right up the middle with it.
In Game 2, Tommy started. He retired the first 12 before Garvey broke the string in the 5th with a single.
Now this is a very good pitcher for Ron Cey to return after the beating against. A control pitcher, not a flamethrower.
Hit well to left. It's going to sink in front of Winfield for a base hit. And so Garvey and Cey go back-to-back with singles against Tommy John in the top of the first inning.
And you saw Ron go up there with perfect confidence.
Dusty Baker.
Well, that he did, and he got a good pitch up again. You'll see it's up in the strike zone. A little bit away, but not far enough, and he just wraps it to left field.
Now Dusty Baker. 0 for 10 in the series with runners on base. He struck out 5 of his last 10. He struck. The pitch is inside and low for ball 1. Another point on Cey is that he gets a chance to play one more game at least, which means he won't have all winter to wonder whether or not he's going to be gun shy. I think he's already proven it to himself. Pitch is low and away, 2 balls and no strikes. Baker hits it in the air to the right side. It hangs up there for Reggie Jackson. Wind moves it around. Reggie holds his ground, and he makes the catch, and the Dodgers lead 2 in the top of the first inning. Coming up, Randolph, Mumphrey, Winfield for New York.
Starting lineup for the Yankees, leading off Willie Randolph. Back in the lineup, batting second, Jerry Mumphrey. Dave Winfield struggling, batting third. The big man, Reggie Jackson, batting fourth. The big man of the series for the Yanks, Bob Watson, fifth. Greg Nettles back in there, batting sixth. Rick Cerrone batting seventh. Surprising Larry Milburn batting eighth. And the ninth hitter, Tommy John.
Defensively for Los Angeles, Steve Garvey will be at first base. Same infield you've seen all along with Davy Lopes up at second base. Jay Johnstone gave him some pine tar for his glove after his 3 errors. Bill Russell is at shortstop. And the miracle of the day, Ron Cey is at third. Had to wait until literally game time before we knew for sure he'd be there, but he's there. Dusty Baker is out in left field, very steady and dependable. Pedro Guerrero is in center field. Not a whole lot of experience there, particularly in this park. And Rick Monday, with left-handed power, is in right field. With Steve Yeager, as Howard indicated earlier, a chance to be the MVP after not playing very much. And on the mound, Burt Hooton.
At third base, Joe Altobelli.
Hooton was the bad luck loser in the second game. An unearned run scored. He left the game. It was 1-0 New York. Big question on Burt is whether or not the extra rest will have any particular impact. It might make him stronger and sharper, and on the other hand, it might not. We'll see. We'll know early, I think. As Willie Randolph comes to the plate, his only hits have been in Game 4, both to the opposite field. He's walked 7 times, and I said, in 23 appearances, he has not taken a swing at the first pitch.
Well, that batting average is very misleading because with the 7 walks, and he's been on, I think, on a couple of errors, out of maybe 22 times, he's almost been on base half the time. And as we've said all along in this series, for the Yankees to really be offensively successful, it really helps when Willie can get on base.
In the game that Hooton pitched here in New York, a gust of wind comes whipping in, and Burt breaks his delivery motion and scuffles around on the mound to get a little bit of footing. But in that game 2, in which Hooton pitched against New York, Randolph was in the number 8 position. Mumphrey was the leadoff man. The first pitch from Hooton ducks in low for ball 1. The flags are pretty much straight out and toward right and right center. The pitch is inside for ball 2. And Yeager goes out. See what the problem is. Burt does not appear comfortable.
Well, Keith, when you first go out on the mound, right in front of the pitching rubber, normally you have to kick out in front of it. And I've always felt that first batter of the game can sometimes be the most important because you don't have any idea of how you're going to feel. And obviously, if you can get him out and be able to throw strikes, it's very important.
There's a strike on the outside corner to make it 2-1. He has now moved a little bit on the pitching rubber, too, Jim. He's moved to the extreme right-hand corner as we look from home plate, or left as you look in there.
Well, if you take a pitcher, I know personally there are some mounds, this one here in Yankee Stadium, that I like very much, and there are also other mounds, say in Detroit and other towns, that you do have difficulty throwing, and Burt's right over the top. This should be a pretty good mound for him.
Down slow now, 3-2. Walking. That is the 8th time that Willie has had a free pass to first base, and now Jerry Mumphrey, the center fielder, number 2 hitter, with Winfield to the on-deck circle. Runner goes, pitch is swung on and missed. Yeager's throw to the left field side of the bag, and Randolph steals it.
Now, Jim, the Yankees, with their backs to the wall, have determined to try to make things happen. So they had Randolph running.
Well, that's right, Howard. And, of course, Hooton has helped him out by walking Randolph and then getting behind Mumphrey. 1-0 count's a pretty good count to run on. You know that Hooton, a veteran, is going to try to throw a strike, which he did. Mumphrey protected Randolph very well, and Willie with a good slide. Yeager made a fairly good throw. It's just a little bit to the left, and Randolph is the best base runner. And the man at the plate right now is their second best base runner.
Fouls it away into the Dodger dugout. And they'd still like to get him as far as third, where Winfield could deliver him with a ball to the outfield. There's Big David. Beleaguered. Ball is looped into short center field. Guerrero coming hard. Good speed, and Pedro makes the catch. And you've got 1 out, and Randolph has to stay at second base. Pedro walking back a little gamely, as if he might have pulled something as he sprinted in. Maybe a little soft and in some spots a little slick in the outfield, though everybody seemed to be getting good traction when they were out working out. You see him dragging his leg a little bit.
Well, on a wet outfield like tonight, I think most of the times outfielders will complain that when they do try to get a jump on the ball, they will slip. And that's all it takes sometimes. And it's not extremely cold, but colder than it was in Los Angeles, and it's an easy way to pull a muscle.
Winfield has all of right center open. Hits it sharply to left. Baker has to stab it and whips his throw back in, and you've got 2 out, and Randolph is still at second.
When you're in a slump, that's how it goes for you. Winfield hit that ball a shot.
And Busty Baker, you see making a nice catch. What happens on line drives sometimes, they are what they call knuckleballs. Just like if you ever watch a knuckleball pitcher being caught by a catcher, you sometimes see the extreme difficulty. The ball will get out to the left fielder and start knuckling. And Baker made a nice catch. It didn't seem to be that tough a play, but as it turned out, tough ball to handle.
Reggie Jackson is at the plate now. Randolph at second and 2 out. Except for the home run off Steve Howe, everything Reggie has hit pretty much has been up the middle or the left center. And Hooton is high and tight and Dexy.
Usually sets up a good fastball away.
But Reggie usually responds to hitting the dirt with a hit.
Well, that he does. That ball was not as close as it may seem. Reggie, of course, is kind of diving towards the plate. Wants to be able to reach the pitch on the outside corner.
Got it outside. Reggie swinging and missing for 1-1.
I think the reason that you mentioned that Reggie's hit the ball left field is that the Dodgers, since 1977 and 1978, they've changed their book of how they want to pitch to Reggie. They pitched him inside both years, and I think he hit 4 or 5 home runs. So they've tried to stay away from him. They'll give him the double or the single to left, but not the home run.
Birdie's outside, 2-1. Foul back. So here's Burt Hooton now, 3-2 on another batter. First 2, Randolph and Mumphrey went 3-2. Winfield lined out to Baker. Now he's 3-2 on the 4th hitter in the inning.
I think with the first base open, you might see a knuckle curveball in this situation, not giving in to Reggie.
They move Guerrero over, but it doesn't matter. Hooton blows him away with a good fastball as Reggie swings through it. And so the Yankees are turned away in the bottom of the first inning, stranding 1 after 1 inning of play, no score. No score as we go to the top of the 2nd inning for Pedro Guerrero, Rick Mundy, and Steve Yeager. Tommy John pitching for New York. And he gave up successive singles with 2 out to Garvey and Say at the top of the first inning. Then Baker lofted a fly ball to right field and Reggie Jackson.
Keith, both clubs had first inning opportunities. The Dodgers got theirs on consecutive Garvey Say singles with 2 out. Baker flied to right. But the Yankees, in the pattern of those LA games, had a man on second with nobody out. They never bunted him to third. Otherwise, they might have gotten a run. And once again, they blew a wide open opportunity. That's been their history in this series. There's Burt Hooton.
The quiet Texan. Tommy John delivers outside to Guerrero, ball 1. Ball is hit to right. Jackson goes back. Got room. 1 out. Wind's going that way. So the ball hit to the right side is going to get some help tonight.
Number 16.
There you see Reggie making a simple catch.
He looked at it second time around to make sure that he had it. Might have had a little trouble with
I've always
lights.
thought with Reggie wearing glasses, sometimes the glare of the lights bothers him.
Well, here's Rick Mundy, who's 2 for 10 in the series. But he does have power. Hits that off the end of the bat, cues it to Milburn. And 2 down. Steve Yeager, he hit a home run to right field at Yankee Stadium. This time he pulls it to the shortstop, Milburn. Larry throws on the bounce and gets away from Watson. And Yeager's aboard. Error shortstop.
Fairly simple play. We saw Milbourne in the series in Los Angeles. Throws coming up just a little bit short. There's another one, and Watson can't handle it for the error.
But Burt hit the ball well in batting practice. This time he just squibbed it back to Tommy John. Well, there you go. So the Dodgers have now stranded a total of 3 base runners in the ball game. After an inning and a half, there is no score. Well, that's the George Washington Bridge, all lit up and splendiferous. 50th anniversary of the GW last week. And just down the road a ways, Yankee Stadium.
Number 28, Bob Watson.
ABC Sunday night movies of the month of November. There's some good ones, aren't there? Goodbye Girl, Grease, Close Encounters of the Third Kind, and Moonraker. For your pleasure, right here on ABC. Bob Watson, 4-12. Burt Hooton continues to throw a lot of pitches. 3-2 again. That's the 4th man that has gone to 3-2. Say at third. Gonna bounce it. Got it. Garvey took it in the stomach and held on. Goodness knows how many errors Steve Garvey saves at first base during the course of the season. Tough play for Ronnie. A long throw. Look where he is, all the way back behind the coaching box practically. First base umpire Larry Barnett waited a while before he made the call to make sure that Garvey had it. Here's Greg Nettles.
Can't measure the importance of this man to the Yankees. When he got hepatitis last year, the Yanks weren't the same team. They haven't won a World Series game since he was out.
First pitch, hits it sharply to Davy Lopes. And so Davy survives the test in the early going. He handles the first ground ball rather cleanly.
You notice that Greg did not hit to the right side in batting practice, Jim, which could only mean he's favoring his thumb, and he didn't get around good on that one.
Well, it was a breaking ball, and you could see after he hit the ball that his hand was almost off the bat. This is something he has said that Charlie Lau, the batting instructor, is trying to get him to do, but that's not his normal batting swing.
Rick Cerrone is in there. There's a strike. 1-1.
Dorothy Hamill.
It's foul.
You still seeing Dorothy?
No.
Terry Royce, who pitched an absolutely brilliant game on Sunday. Why did you say no 3 times?
For emphasis. Ground ball. Shortstop Bill Russell. In the dirt again, Steve Garvey comes in it cleanly. So, Yankees go in order. When you're in a circumstance like this with so much at stake, the intangibles make a lot of difference. Before the game, Bob Uecker talked to Reggie.
Was the emotion the same, Reggie, in that mini-series against Milwaukee when the Yankees had to win that final game? Could you compare it to this or not?
I say it's about the same. I would say that we may be a little bit looser tonight so far up to this point, but Bobby, I think that the one thing that I worry about is that this ball club's come back so often, so many times. It's always won the big game or the game it had to win. And every once in a while you think you may catch a bad break or a bad bounce, a bad call, or something may go the other way in an either-or situation. And you just may run out one day, but if we get a few breaks tonight, I know the ball club's ready to play.
Reggie was a bit winded when that interview was made. He had just come out of the batting cage. The game is being held up for just a moment. We have had a power hit that affected some of the lights here in the stadium, and as well as some of the operation in our television trucks as well. So there are several lights that are right now dark around the perimeter of the stadium, and they're waiting to get them back on. So the Yankees are afield, and they'll try to stay loose. And I can tell you this telecast is presented by authority of Major League Baseball, intended solely for the private non-commercial use of our audience. Any publication, reproduction, retransmission, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this game without the express written consent of Major League Baseball is prohibited. And today is the 55th birthday of the commissioner.
Picks up the phone to check out with Tom Villani in our booth. See what Villani knows about the power hit.
So while we're waiting for the lights to be restored, Howard spent a moment or two with Happy Burt Hooton before the ball game.
What is the knuckle curve?
A knuckle curve is it is a true knuckleball, so to speak. I actually do put my knuckles on the balls, on the seams, and when I release it, I put a forward rotation on it, and I get the curveball effect on it. It's not a flutter ball like most knuckleballs are, but it is an actual curveball.
Pre-game comments of the Dodgers pitcher tonight, Burt Hooton. The game still being held up. The Yankees have now come in from the field into the dugout where it's a little bit warmer. We've got a timeout. Let's take this break. All right, we've got lights are back on, I guess. As far as we can tell, the Yankees have resumed their position on the field, loosening up. The wind continues to swirl, and you're getting some paper, bits and pieces of debris blowing around. This is the coolest night that we have had, and it's also the least settled as far as the weather conditions are concerned. The wind has been blowing pretty consistently in that direction since we came to the ballpark in late afternoon. Tommy John back on the mound now to loosen up. Tommy threw only 5 pitches in the second inning. He threw 15 in the first. Burt Hooton, on the other hand, has thrown a lot of pitches up there. Burt had 21 pitches in the first inning. He threw 12 more in the second, so he's thrown 33 so far in the ball game. He is indeed a craftsman at his trade, isn't he?
That he is. I still don't think he's in as good a groove as he can be in, while it seemed that Hooton in the last inning came along and threw his knuckle curveball when he was behind in the count. He made some good pitches, seems to be settling down.
Second time around for the Dodgers now. Top of the order, Davey Lopes, Bill Russell, and Steve Garvey.
And we thank you.
Steve Yeager, with whom we spoke in the pregame show. Terribly interesting fellow. Wearing a beard, as you can see. He did not shave when the series started, and therefore, with the Dodgers now ahead 3-2, he steadfastly refuses to remove the beard until and unless the Dodgers lose, which he hopes will be never.
That will be one of the great sports stories of this year. In fact, Yeager should wind up the MVP in this World Series. My goodness.
Well, he attributes his success. He's played more in the last week as far as being a regular player than he did all year, and he feels that has a lot of reason for him being so successful.
Lopes lays it down to foul. He didn't get it down the left side, where Nettles had shortened up a little on him, took it down the right side, and he just dribbled foul. Nettles going to cut it off. One out in the top of the third.
With the play around home plate at Dodger Stadium, Jim, that might have gone down the left field line.
We saw Nettles come in, and again, a nice play. Very important, not only the first hitter of the inning, but also Tommy John's had trouble with Steve Garvey, and 2 for 3, and he got a base hit already tonight.
Russell goes to right, going to sink for a base hit. That's hit number 3 for the Dodgers. So Billy's aboard, and here's Garvey. Steve single, first time up.
The first baseman, Steve Garvey.
Wouldn't be surprised if the pitch is in the strike zone to see Steve go after the first one.
Mr. Consistency.
I think another thing we can look for, to go back to the Houston series where they were struggling in the 5th game, Tommy hit and run with Steve. Try to get something going off Nolan Ryan. He hit a single in the right field, 1st and 3rd situation.
Russell goes, ball bounces, he's out. Garvey swinging and missing.
Well, that's your hit and run right there. Tommy made a good pitch with a breaking ball. Garvey couldn't lay the bat on it, and Russell, even though the throw bounces, is out easily at second. He was counting on Garvey being able to get some wood on the ball and hopefully, with the infielders moving, get the ball into the outfield and create that first and third situation.
I hope the fans noticed that Bill Russell did exactly what you suggested at the advent of the contest, Jim. Went to right.
That's a little tamper at third. Just barely.
He was lucky, Mr. Nettles, on that one.
Well, he couldn't have made that play on
exactly, and that's why he let the ball go, and here's experience. He knows he has no chance of throwing Steve out, so he lets the ball, and as you said, look at, missed it by about an inch. If it hits the bag, it is a fair ball.
And that's where he was lucky.
Exactly. Ron Say in the on-deck circle for Los Angeles with 2 out, nobody on. Russell had singled and was thrown out.
He talked to me at length today, Ron, over at the hotel where the Dodgers are staying, about how Goose Gossage came over to see him in the clubhouse after the game, and how Mrs. Gossage ran over to Mrs. Say immediately the accident happened.
2-2 pitch. Garvey hits it in the air to center field for Mumphrey. And there you have it. After 2.5 innings of play in Game 6 of the World Series, no score at Yankee Stadium. It takes a little reading. I'm sure you can get the message. Larry Milburn, Tommy John, and Willie Randolph for New York. Bottom of the 3rd inning, no score. To Garvey. He'll do it himself, 1 out.
Number 25, Tommy John.
Tomorrow night, if we need it, Game 7, and it's the matchup of the great rookies. Fernando Valenzuela, Dave Righetti. I thought last Friday night's baseball game was one of the guttiest performances I have ever seen by Valenzuela and by Tom Lasorda. Here's TJ.
You realize Yankee pitchers or the pinch hitters have come up with 20 runners on and produced no hits?
What did you say, Jim? They're 0 for 35 or something like that? Here's Fernando, who will get the call tomorrow night.
Fernando in his hideaway.
Otherwise, his next start will probably be opening day next year.
That's right. 2-2 pitch. Just low. So that's what, 5 times he's gone to 3-2 on a New York batter.
It's not something you want to do as a pitcher because you just have to move the ball in the middle of the plate a little bit more, and when you do that, you give up more hits.
That's fouled away by Tommy. Foul ball. TJ thought he had one. Oh, he thought he had one. He was already pumping for second. Rick Mundy fetching it out of the corner. Well, he hit it pretty well to right center field, but Guerrero had him played perfectly. The wind carries it a little bit toward right. Pedro makes the catch. 2 down. Now to the top of the order, and the second time around for the Yankees, Willie Randolph. Walked his first time, stole second. Ball is hit well to left. Baker going back. It's gone.
behind in the count, wanted to throw a strike. Willie, a good fastball hitter, jumps on it. Line drive into the left field seats.
Out of here at about 375, his second home run in the World Series.
1 hit, 1 run.
Bottom of the third, 0-0, and the batter is Willie Randolph. The Yankees, who've never lost a 6-game World Series, take the lead.
Pitch to Mumphrey, low, ball 1.
You're standing on the mound saying, why couldn't you just been a line drive or a base hit to left instead of going out of the ballpark?
Fair ball on the chalk. Karam's off the wall. Mundy pursues it, and Mumphrey holds at first with a single.
Took a perfect bounce and roll for Mundy.
Oh, the Yankees rattle Burt a little bit with 2 out in the bottom of the third. Randolph's home run for a 1-0 lead. Mumphrey's aboard, and here's Dave Winfield. When this big guy comes to the plate, you've got to think sooner or later the law of averages, or whatever it is, sooner or later. Yeager bluffs the throw. Mumphrey back on his hands and knees at first base. Ball 1. Pitches inside. Mumphrey made no move. 2 balls and no strikes. Joe Altobelli comes out of the third base coaching box, comes up the line. Winfield turns and has a good look. Doesn't go, and he misses. 3 balls and no strikes. 50 pitches now by Burt Hooton, and you get activity in the Los Angeles bullpen.
Action, that's it, in the bullpen.
Ball 4. There's the Dodger pin. Lefty is Foster, the right-handed stroke. Here's Reggie Jackson. And the primarily New York crowd is up stomping. Yankees lead 1-0. Randolph's home run with 2 out at 375 feet to left field. Jackson, his first time, struck out swinging. Checks on it. Ball 1.
And you can see Hooton wanting that pitch. Anytime you're pitching and you have 2 men on, 2 outs, trailing by a run, and you make a pretty good pitch on the outside corner with a guy like Reggie up there, you want every strike you throw, or at least you thought you throw. And both Yeager and Hooton thought that was a pretty good knuckle curveball on the outside corner.
And Reggie hits it in the air to the left side for Baker. Plenty of room for Dusty, and he makes the catch. So the Yankees get a run on Randolph's home run and lead after 3, 1-0. It'll be Ronce, Dusty Baker, and Pedro Guerrero for Los Angeles in the top of the 4th inning. New York leading as a result of Randolph's home run. The line score 1-2-1 by the Yankees, and New York is stranded 3. For Los Angeles, 0-3 and 0, and they have stranded 3 against Tommy John.
So the Dodgers have grown accustomed to being behind, and they are in their accustomed place. Yankee fans no longer count on anything when the Yankees move ahead, especially by only 1 run.
Ronce, who had a single, his first time up tonight. Tommy John ready. And the pitch is on the outside corner for strike. Say can reach in left here with his power, but he takes a dandy curveball for strike 2. One and 2. Swings and misses and strikes out on another sharp breaking sinker. Just dove.
And here you see the sinker just kind of fades away. And Rancé swings right through, way out in front. And there you saw Tommy John get ahead of him with a breaking ball. Missed with a sinker. May have been looking curveball. Came back with another one for strike 3.
Dusty Baker. Right center, base hit. Well, Dusty has not had that pleasure very many times in the series. As he came to the plate, he was 2 for 19. He's now 3 for 20.
Center fielder, Pedro Guerrero.
Now the young man who tied the game with a 1-out home run after Baker had fanned against Ron Guidry in the 7th inning of the 5th game. And boy, did he crunch it, Keith.
If you talk to hitters that hit off Guidry, the thing that makes the slider so difficult is when he throws a good one, it's just a little bit out of the strike zone.
Guerrero to deep left field, and the ball game is tied. All it took.
Folks sitting in the left center field pavilion must have had quite a thrill to have 2 shots come at them like that. Bang, bang, almost in the same place, it looked like. Hit well to left. In Winfield, right place, and you've got 2 out.
Like the way that kid swings, Jim.
Well, he's a good fastball hitter. The first time he threw him a bell-high fastball away, line to right. Here you can see the ball's up in the strike zone. He gets his arms extended. And pitching can be sometimes a lot of luck. And that ball's hit right on the nose, right at Winfield.
Rick Mundy now with 2 down and Dusty Baker at first.
Rick didn't play last Wednesday. They played Kenny Landreau. Tommy got him for a big strikeout. So you see Tommy Lasorda going with a more veteran player. Rick hangs in there well against left-handers. You just have to make good pitches to get him out. What he's done now is work Tommy into a 2-ball, 1-strike count where might get a pretty good pitch to hit.
2-1. Fouls it away. Make it 2-2. I think Tom Lasorda's had a pretty good series too, don't you? As you see Dave Righetti, who will pitch tomorrow night. Incidentally, that Valenzuela-Righetti matchup, if it comes, it will be the first time ever in World Series history both starting pitchers were rookies. But to go back to the point on Lasorda, I think he's had a pretty good series.
Tremendous.
In Game 7. Yeah. They're trying to get a hold of too many facts at once, I guess. First time ever when they've gone in there with all the marbles and chalk.
If it comes to a 7th game, I think Dodger fans will see the real Righetti.
Well, he wasn't the pitcher that the Orioles saw on last Friday. Didn't throw as hard as he could. He'd only given up 1 home run all year. I'm not taking away from Rancé because he can hit home runs on anybody.
Baker goes. Monday, a shot through Watson's glove. He nailed it. Bobby flagged it. I would think that would be a base hit. And I'm not scoring it.
No, we got 3 fellows scoring it, and it is a base hit.
Baker goes to second. Mundy at first for Steve Yeager.
So once again, Yeager in a big situation.
Is he a man of destiny? He did not hit Tommy John in Game 2.
No, but he did hit that scorching liner up through the middle that Tommy knocked down and made a fine play or the game would have been tied 1-1 after the end of 7 innings.
Low. Hooton on deck. one would think here they would pitch rather carefully to Yeager with the pitcher Hooton on deck and not be terribly concerned if they should walk Steve. They pitch to him. He hits it into left field for a base hit, and here comes Baker. The game is tied.
So he does it again. Remarkable.
Here you see the ball up in the strike zone. Hit right between Milbourne and Nettles. You see Milbourne making a nice effort. Baker running on the plate scores easily.
They do strike back, don't they?
They're pecking away, too. They've got 6 base hits, as you see, here in the top of the 4th inning. We're all even at 1. And here's Burt Hooton. A strike. Frazier's now in the New York bullpen. Young man who pitched well. It's what I saw of it in the game in Los Angeles the other day. Wow. Strike 2. 2 out.
That he did, Keith. He pitched well both Friday night and Saturday night.
He had
Astro Clay Infield got him on Friday night, and the combination of maybe the wrong center fielder. Bobby Brown went in for defense, had trouble with a fly ball. As it turned out, he ended up losing both Friday and Saturday, even though he pitched well. And there is a good sinker for strike 3.
So he strikes out Burt Hooton. The Dodgers strand 2 more, but they get a run on Yeager's single, and the game is even at 1-1. Bottom of the 4th inning we go now for New York's Bob Watson, Greg Nettles, and Rick Cerrone as the Dodgers get a run to tie in the top of this inning. And Burt Hooton, he had 2 men, Dave Stewart and Terry Forster, throwing back of him in the top. Actually, the bottom of the 3rd and a portion of the top of the 4th, but they have both now sit down and put on their jackets in the bullpen. Frazier is back sitting down in the Yankee bullpen. Burt got Bob Watson to bounce the 3rd baseman Say his first time. To the shortstop Russell. 1 out. Well, it's another one of those games that's just beginning to simmer and simmer and bubble. So much at stake. Greg Nettles at the plate. Thing to watch here is whether or not he can keep his top hand on the bat. The sore hand. The left one. Foul back.
And there you saw Hooton go right in on his fist in last Wednesday's game. He moved the ball around, and this is when, of course, Greg's hand was healthy. Ended up striking him out inside.
I thought you could see that Nettles winced.
Foul back out of play.
Again, there you saw him take his hand off the bat.
Face showed a little pain on the earliest swing.
Well, I was told that his hand is broken. He has a hairline fracture on the inside of his thumb, and you can see there that the hand not on the bat. And it doesn't seem to me that Nettles is going to be the home run threat that he normally is. Just cannot. To hit home runs, you have to have that top hand.
That's hit down the line in right field to the corner. Nettles will take a turn. Monday with the ball. Nettles going for 2. He'll stand. He doesn't choose to stand. He goes in on his thumb. He had plenty of time.
What did you say, Jim?
I said he's only going to hit doubles tonight, Howard. Well, what do I know? He hit 9 home runs off him in his lifetime. I ought to be an expert on it.
Got the inside pitch, but again, you can see a bit of a teeth grinding experience. Ball did not carry him well off the wall for Monday, and though Greg chose to go in sliding, not knowing exactly where the ball was, he was in easily. And Hooton is in with a strike to Rick Cerrone. Yankees with the go-ahead run now out at second base with 1 out.
Where'd you say it was, Rick said? Right over the outside corner. That's the way you saw it, Rick said? That's the way it was.
Well, they got him out with knuckle curveballs the first time, and that's probably the best pitch this round. And there you saw another one, kind of up in the strike zone. The book on him is the fact that he is a first ball hitter, but he usually gets a pretty good pitch to hit, and that's part of being patient at the plate.
Ended pitch, wicked pitch, strikes him out. 2 down.
And here you see the knuckle curveball. You'll see the ball drop.
Shortstop.
Goes down and in. Cerrone swings right through it. Excellent pitch.
Larry Milburn. The phrase of second guessing. Jimmy, if it were not for what we have come to call second guessing, sports wouldn't be any fun. Wouldn't be anything to talk about.
Well, here you see they're going to intentionally walk Milburn. Of course, Milburn drove in the winning run last Wednesday night on a knuckleball out over the plate, knuckle curveball up, and hit it, poked it down the left field line for eventually what turned out to be the winning run.
John is scheduled. Frazier's throwing in the bullpen. TJ took off his batting helmet.
Lemon is asking Tommy John how he feels. Lemon is not disposed to take out one of his aces this early. He's also sensitive to earlier criticism that he's gone too long with his pitching.
And there you saw Tommy wave. I think he's through for the night.
Yep. He talked with Clyde King. John does not look terribly pleased about it.
No, he doesn't understand it. He doesn't agree with it. But you see the manager's reaction to that which has transpired in the past. Now, if Lemon's going to put up a pinch hitter, it is Bobby Mercer. Somebody has finally checked out, because Bobby Mercer has a marvelous career batting average against Burt Hooton. He's 13 for 34 at 382. Things get a little sticky when you've got an ornery owner, and you've been criticized in the 3 prior games. So Lem is much more quickly reactive tonight. He now awaits a new second guess. But in point of fact, Jim Palmer has said that to him, John has not been in a good groove all evening, and he has given up 6 hits. Only 1 run, but 6 hits. And in his most recent inning, gave up 3.
But I think there is a tendency of veteran managers to stick with veteran pitchers. I know in our ball club in Baltimore, Earl Weaver would much rather stay with a veteran pitcher that's been there before than to go to a rookie such as George Frazier. But again, you can second guess anything, and if Bobby Mercer gets a clutch hit and Frazier pitches like he did in game 3 and 4, it might be the best move that he can make.
Nettles at second, Milburn at first, Mercer the hitter.
This is Mercer.
Oklahoma Bobby is up there. Both Hooton and Bobby spent time with the Cubs. Pitch, strike.
Now Mercer is, to use Jim's word of a few moments ago, a selective hitter, a patient hitter. He waits for his pitch on average.
Dodgers shade him well to the right in the outer defense. And the pitch is outside 1-1.
Well, I think that's a sign of somebody that's going to be successful as a pinch hitter. On our ball club, Terry Crowley, Jose Morales. Terry has like 90 lifetime pinch hits. Jose, I think, 100. They go up there and look for a pitch that they think that they can hit. It's what you call self-confidence.
Ball is hit well to right. Mundy has room. Makes the catch. So Bobby Mercer hits a fly ball to right field with 2 out to end the inning. Yankees strand 2 more. That's a total of 5. And you'll get a new pitcher for New York, George Frazier, coming on in relief of Tommy John. Lopes, Russell, and Garvey will face him.
In the top of the fourth, with 2 on and 2 out, Tommy John is trying to extend his series scoreless innings streak to 13. But catcher Steve Yeager, who had only 86 at-bats all season, prepares once again for a Yankee southpaw. Baker's run will be the only one allowed by John, thanks to the series' most controversial strategy. In the bottom of the fourth, Greg Nettles doubles, and with 2 outs, Larry Milbourne has walked intentionally to get to John. Bob Lemon then decides the future is now. Bobby Mercer is called on to pinch hit. With the DH rule not in effect this series, Yankee pitchers have gone 0 for 14. Mercer comes within a warning track of making Lemon's move look good, but it's out number 3. And with TJ's arm put away for the winter, this 1-1 game becomes a second-guesser's delight.
George Frazier coming in, making his 3rd appearance in the World Series. And we've already told you that he performed well in the 2 games out in Los Angeles. Tommy John, having pitched to the Dodgers through 4 innings of play, not particularly happy to be pulled for the pinch hitter, but it's done. In the meantime, as we wait for Frazier to warm up and the game to resume, let's go back to a conversation Howard had with Steve Yeager, who begins more and more to become a prominent personality in this World Series. Here's Howard and Steve.
Finally, Steve, what is there in your makeup that enables you to respond to postseason play? All the crises.
Well, maybe it's trying to fulfill a childhood dream where everybody wants to get in the World Series and win the World Series, become world champions in the game of baseball. Maybe it's that, Howard. I can't explain it, why I do so well. It's just that I try hard, and I try to be successful, and I want to win. And that's the most important thing to me, is to walk around with a World Series ring on my finger and walk around with the things 20 or 30 years from now and say that 1981 we were the world champs.
So George Frazier comes on. Pretty good sized fella at 6'5", 205, but he has had quite a year for himself. He was acquired on the St. Louis Cardinal chain in '81. He began the season with Springfield in the American Association, moved over to Columbus when he was traded over to the Yankee organization from the Cardinals. And then he was called up by the Yankees at the start of the so-called second season, taking Gene Nelson's place on the roster. And through the first 13 and a third innings he pitched with New York, he didn't allow an earned run. As a result, he obviously was kept on the roster for the playoffs and the World Series, and he's performed well. He has a very good fastball and a hard sweeping sort of a curveball. And he'll pitch to the top of the order. Davy Lopes, Bill Russell, and Steve Garvey, all right-handed hitters. To the hole, Nettles can't get it, neither can Milbourne, and Davy Lopes is aboard at first base. First man up against Frazier. That one had eyes. Danced through there.
Well, it's a 1-2 breaking ball, and what it does, and here you'll see it just get between Nettles and Milbourne. What it does, it allows Davy Lopes to have a chance to steal second. On Tommy John, even though he doesn't have a great pickoff move, he's looking right at the left-hander, and Davy only runs when he thinks he can make it. Against a right-handed 6'5" pitcher, it takes a little bit longer to get rid of the ball. A little bit better opportunity to try to steal.
Nettles shortens up at third, comes to the edge of the grass. See whether or not Russell chooses to bunt him over. He's directed to do so by Tom Lasorda.
Lasorda, well aware that Frazier is not only a right-hander, but also a young pitcher.
Russell pulls it away and takes a strike. Pitch out. Lopes is not going. He's got 1-1 now. Russell bunts. And it stays fair. Watson picks it up, steps on the bag, and gets Russell, and Lopes is over at second.
And they especially have to watch him on second base. One of the pivotal plays in the Saturday ball game was stealing third base.
Third base.
In which, as we said then, is probably the easiest base to steal. You don't have somebody holding you on as closely. And here Watson, you see him taking the out. The last thing the Yankees want right now is a big inning. If this runner, Davy Lopes at second, would happen to score, they're still in the ball game. Plenty of time to get the tying run and maybe go ahead, but just don't want a big inning in the 5th inning because it puts you right out of the game.
Pretty tough customer up there now, and Steve Garvey. 1 out. Ball is hit high in the air to left field for Winfield. 2 down.
The third baseman.
So Steve jumps on the first pitch.
Bob Lemon. I wonder if he has any doubts within himself. He's only human as to whether or not he should have taken out Tommy John. But when you're second guessed from here to heaven and back, you begin to feel, I guess, deep within you, you've got to do something. Maybe even against your own impulse.
Over the mound. Bad bounce. Can't handle it. Lopes coming. 2-1 Dodgers.
Here you see a good sinker. Just chops it up the middle.
Hit right on the edge of the grass.
And there you saw it kicked right.
Yep. Hit right on where the grass and the dirt meet. And it just skipped right between them.
Seems uncanny, doesn't it? The way their ground balls are going, part of this whole momentum they developed in Los Angeles.
2-1 Dodgers as Dusty Baker takes a strike from Frazier, a base hit for Ron Cey.
It seems like most of the bad things that happen to the Yankees happen when George Frazier's on the mound. I'm sure he's talking to himself.
Pitch is outside.
It is strange, isn't it?
That's a little looper. Randolph going hard. Can't get it. Drops for a base hit. Cey turns and goes to third. They're just picking his bone.
It's agonizing, must be, for the Yankees. They haven't had a well-hit ball this inning. Not really.
It's a no man's land back of second base. Mumphrey had no chance to get it. Randolph was the only hope, and it's just beyond his reach. So now with 2 out, you have Ron Cey over at third. You have Baker at first, and Guerrero your hitter. Ron Davis is up in the Yankee pen. Rudy May up near the wall, the left-hander, and both of those gentlemen had to profit from the rainout, I would think. Guerrero hits it high, hits it deep to left center field. Mumphrey on his horse, going, can't get it. Cey scores from third. Here comes Baker, rounding third. Guerrero heading for third. In with a triple, and the Dodgers have got the big inning going.
Well, you have to feel for Bob Lemon. You simply have to.
He hit that ball to the fence at 430 feet. And the Dodgers lead 4-1.
And I wonder what Tommy John is thinking.
Here, after a series of good pitches, throws that ball right down the middle. Guerrero, as we said, an excellent fastball hitter. Way out of Dodger Stadium. A triple here in Yankee Stadium.
4-1 Los Angeles, and now the power of Monday becomes a plus for Los Angeles as he stands in against the right-hander. Low for ball 1. There's a strike.
Silence in Yankee Stadium is like a tomb.
Good sharp breaking curveball snapping off inside. Monday strikes out. The inning is over, but it's a big one for Los Angeles. 4-1 Dodgers, middle of the 5th.
In relief is George Frazier, the first pitcher in 40 years to lose 2 straight series games. A subpar Ron Cey finds himself in a key spot, lopes on second with 2 out. This RBI single opens the floodgates as the artful Dodgers continue to produce runs in every way imaginable. There's no looking back for Yankee fans. They now have to get Pete Guerrero or else. Or else watch their World Series hopes slip away. Two more Dodger runs come scampering home on a 430-foot triple by the red-hot Guerrero, and the Dodgers widen the gap.
All right, Burt Hooton now with a 3-run cushion as he pitches to New York in the bottom of the 5th inning. And he'll be pitching to the top of the order. Los Angeles has not won a world championship since 1965. Yankees turned them away twice since that time. This is the 11th time these two teams have met, New York having won 8 of the previous 10. Randolph had a home run in the 3rd for the first run of the ball game, so he's walked and homered, and has yet in this series to swing at the first pitch. He's walked 8 times. There's the first one.
George Frazier has a chance to become the first pitcher in World Series history to lose 3 games. Not an enviable thing. Meanwhile, look at Ron Cey as a potential MVP. Coming back from the beating. He's gotten 2 out of 3.
Ball is hit high in the air to left field. Baker going back, going back, going back. Can't get it off the wall. Randolph is in at second base standing with a double. A walk, a home run, and a double for Willie.
Randolph's power is even amazing the Yankee fans.
As I said, he goes 1 and 2. He's ahead in the count. And there you see a high knuckle curveball. Randolph crushes it to left center. Baker can't get to it.
That's a home run at Dodger Stadium because that's out there about 395 on that fence. And very quickly, the Los Angeles bullpen is active. Jerry Mumphrey is at the plate.
And again, as in the first inning when Randolph walked and stole second, Mumphrey, even though they're behind by 3 runs, it's important he gets the runner over. Even 1 run puts him back in the game.
Little check swing, line drive right to Ron Cey. Welch and Howe. Bob Welch, a right-hander, and Steve Howe, a left-hander, are in the Dodger bullpen. Here's the check swing, little looper, right to Ronnie Cey. That was almost a gimme, wasn't it? Here's Dave Winfield. Lined out to left and walked. His batting average, you got to shake the bucket to find it. High pop-up. Winfield falls down at the plate as Yeager comes back and makes the catch. So Winfield fouls out to the catcher for the second out. David getting some boos as he goes back to the dugout. Now Reggie with 2 out. Pitch is inside.
Second time that's happened to Reggie today.
Again, not all that close, actually, because you see Yeager never left his crouch. Reach up and take it. But as Jim pointed out earlier, Reggie is stepping into it. throws him out. The inning is over. The Yankees have now stranded 6. 4-1 Dodgers. Back with more action after this from our local station. Ron Davis is the third New York pitcher now, and here's what's happened to him in the World Series. In Game 1, he walked both the batters he faced, went out in the 8th inning. Game 4, retired the first 3, then he walked a man, gave a home run. There was an error behind him, gave a single, and left in the 6th inning. So he has not had a good World Series.
Diego promptly tied up the game after the Yankees had assumed a 1-0 lead in the bottom of the 3rd.
Jumps on the first pitch and fouls it in the crowd.
Yankees have had a number of opportunities. Twice they've had men on second base with nobody out. In each case, they failed even to ever advance the runner. Winfield and Jackson have each failed twice with a runner in scoring position.
1 ball and 1 strike as he's inside. New York came to the World Series with 9 pitchers. Los Angeles came to the World Series with 11 pitchers.
That's because of the designated hitter.
Right.
This game is of a pattern with the 3 prior Dodger victories. Once falling behind, they quickly recapture, go ahead, and their pitching is held up.
Foul ball. Davis gets Yeager on a 90-mile-an-hour fastball.
Attention, Burt Hooton.
All right, here's Burt. Inside, ball 1. Ball 2. 2-1. There are no Drysdales on that pitching staff. Remember when Big D was used as a pinch hitter by Walter Alston?
The Winder could hit. Dodgers had a history of good hitting pitches. Big Nuke could hit. Herb Palika could hit.
Jacket will come out for Burt Hooton as he goes to first base on the walk.
This is exactly, or it has exactly been Ron Davis's pattern. He struck out Yeager apparently with ease, then walks the opposition pitcher.
Well, that's what happened on the Saturday ball game. 6-3 lead. Helped the Dodgers get back into the game with a 1-out walk and threw the home run to Johnstone.
Got in trouble the same way in the Milwaukee series. Which is why Lemon went to Frazier, who no longer trusted Davis.
Which is high.
You really think about it, there's so many less situations in the American League because of the DH rule where you can get the second guess a manager. In the American League, Mercer would have been batting in that position possibly, or a DH would have been. Tommy John would have been allowed to remain in the ball game, and you would have had a veteran pitcher and also had the chance of having a veteran hitter hit off Hooton.
What you're saying, net is the designated hitter rule makes it a lot more interesting.
Well,
although there are those who say the opposite, talking about strategy.
Well, I know Al Michaels is sitting out there in Menlo Park saying, see, there again. Yes, there again, strategy dictated that Lemon made a move, and as it turned out, it's been the wrong one.
Foul ball down the left side, sharply struck. He checked on it. 3 balls and 1 strike. Rudy May, the left-hander, and Rick Russell, the right-hander, in the New York bullpen. May is the second time up for Rudy. Lopes making Davis wait.
Really building a grave. Digging a grave, I guess I should have said.
Hooton to second, Lopes to first. With 1 out, Russell up. Lemon to the mound. Might do it for Davis.
Well, he did have Rick Russell available for the entire ball game. It's been really, this would be his 4th day since he pitched on Saturday.
And what did he pitch?
Pardon me?
How many innings did he pitch? Pitched 3, didn't he?
Yes, I mean, this would be a regular term on a four-day rotation.
All right, Davis stays. And the pitch to Russell is in there for a strike. Inside, 1-1. Hooton at second. Lopes at first. 1 out. He struck out Yeager, and he walked successive hitters. 1-2 for Russell. Holds it. In the hole. Base hit, left field. Hooton's coming. Winfield up to throw. Won't get there. 5-1 Dodgers.
Everything is coming apart. A very poor throw by Winfield. Ron Davis failing again. And an owner who is taking careful note. Notes for next year.
Watch the throw, though. Now, he just must have bounced 6 times. Watch how low it is. See? It actually hit the dirt right about the inside of the shortstop position. Back to the mound goes Bob Lemon. That'll do it for Ron Davis. We've got a timeout. The Dodgers scoring another run, leading in the top of the 6th by a score of 5-1. 32-year-old Rick Russell, who came over to the Yankees, the trade from Chicago Cubs for Doug Bird, and Mike Griffin eventually went over to the Cubs. He was traded to New York just on the eve of the strike. You saw his numbers a moment ago. He is the 4th New York pitcher. John started. When he was lifted, the score was 1-1. Frazier relieved. He gave up 3 runs. Davis now is charged with 1. And Davy Lopes out at second base. And Bill Russell at first base are also the property of Ron Davis. Thomas has now come out to the on-deck circle and apparently is going to hit for Ron Cey as Steve Garvey comes to the plate for the Dodgers.
And there's Darrell Thomas, and it's a very wise move on Lasorda's part to take Ron out of the game. It was amazing that he started the game. That involved both courage and great physical resiliency, and Cey came through with a pair of hits.
Pitch is low and away to Garvey for ball 1. Steve had a pair of singles in 2 at-bats against Russell.
George is right. And that sign symbolizes exactly what the situation is in this stadium in the owner's box right now.
Runners go. Pitch swung on. No throw. Double steal.
Another double steal. This Yankee performance tonight has become an embarrassment to the owner, who wants everything for the fans of the Yankees. Well, you can't just deliver everything, and it may be that this World Series is proving just that. One has to feel sympathy for Bob Lemon, who's a beautiful man, who's weathered the vicissitudes of life and great personal tragedy very well. But Steinbrenner has to think about this whole team as the intentional walk is now effectuated. He told me Sunday on Sports Beat that win or lose the series, he would make changes. Now he may make sweeping changes. Look at that. Other than Goose Gossage, the relievers have failed totally. So the expected strength wasn't there. And there is age at first base with Watson. And the backup, again, as you look at Lim, Al Revering is not your whirlwind ball player. Cerrone, young, a solid catcher when healthy. Injuries happen to him. Randolph, there's Lasorda. A solid player, and he's proved himself all over again in the World Series. Shortstop fine with Denton Milburn. Third, Nettles. Getting older, but still effective.
At the same time, when you consider the Dodgers, time is beginning to whittle away at some of their key people.
This could be the last hurrah for the Dodger team as we see it here and there. As for Winfield, he's had a simply terrible series, but he's a great athlete, and that's a bad series, and that's it. Humphreys a solid and young player. Reggie's future, candidly uncertain. So there's a lot that's going to happen with this Yankee team.
Nettles spears it, steps on the bag, whirls and loops the throw across, safe at first base, another run scores. 6-1 Dodgers.
I'll tell you, though, that's just what Jim Palmer was talking about. Get him batting from the right side. Yep. But that was truly a remarkable effort by Nettles. It really was. Look at it again, Jim.
He made as good a play as you can make. He barely gets to it. There you can see him step on the base.
But look at the throw. While we won't see it again, he couldn't get a lot on it, but he still got it there and barely failed to get so swift a runner as Thomas.
Now it is Dusty Baker with Garvey up at second and Thomas on first. Russell being forced by Nettles at third.
But I think
another look at it, Jim.
Here you see Greg going to his right, makes a nice play. Really a desperation throw. He's known for having one of the most accurate arms, if not the most accurate arm in the American League, and the throw is right on the money, but Thomas beat the play.
Baker to Nettles, off his chest. No play, I don't think. Nope. The bases are loaded again with 2 out for Los Angeles. 6-1 Dodgers lead. They scored 1 in the 4th, 3 in the 5th, 2 here in the 6th. Another look at it at third. The ball comes skittering up, hits him right in the chest. And it's an error on Nettles.
In the last analysis, too, Keith, analyzing it out, Dodger pitching has proved to be stronger than Yankee pitching.
That's a foul ball.
Wouldn't you agree?
Yes, sir. I would indeed. Ball is lifted out into left center field. Mumphrey can't get it. Garvey scores. Here comes Thomas to the plate. The throw to third, not in time. Double Guerrero. 2 runs are in. And it's becoming a blowout. 8-1 Los Angeles.
And here you see the pitch up in the strike zone. Guerrero doesn't hit it that well. Mumphrey a little bit hesitant. Plays it on 1 hop.
Couldn't get it. The ball dropping in front of him.
He makes another transgression there. He missed the cutoff man, and Guerrero was allowed to go to second. A lot of mistakes in this inning.
Monday being walked intentionally. And some of the folks
people
are
beginning to leave Yankee Stadium. Who can remember that around these parts?
Now Steve Yeager, as the Dodgers have batted around here in the 6th. As a roller to the shortstop, Milburn. Throw is in time to get Yeager, and the Dodgers are finally retired, but they have a big inning. 1 in the 4th, 3 in the 5th, 4 more in the 6th. The Los Angeles leads it 8-1.
Hi, I'm Carlton Fisk of the Chicago White Sox. One of the proudest moments of my career was when I hit this home run for the Boston Red Sox in the 1975 World Series. Pride is important, especially the kind of pride you find in the U.S. Army. The Army can help you grow as a person. You may travel, learn new skills, and further your education. So why not check out the Army, where you can be all that you can be?
Call this number toll-free or see your local Army representative.
Darrell Thomas goes in at third base. Ron Say out of the game after certainly accomplishing something of a miracle. Dusty Baker is now in left field where he has been for the night. But the changes are that Guerrero moves over to right while this man, Landreau, goes in to play center. Kenny Landreau, who played center field most of the 2 seasons for Los Angeles. And he, of course, was with the Minnesota Twins and put in quite a bit of service in center field here in this ballpark, so he knows it quite well. Bob Watson, Greg Nettles, and Rick Cerrone for New York. The Dodgers have given Burt Hooton an 8-1 lead. The Yankees up in the bottom of the 6th inning. He goes to 1-1 on Bobby. The Dodgers trying to win their first World Championship since 1965. And their third against the Yankees. 1-2. On the ground to Russell at shortstop. Hill's throw in time. 1 out.
The third baseman, Greg Nettles.
Nettles pulled his double into the right field corner. To right center, base hit. Greg has 2 hits, sore hand and all. Yankee dugout looks like it's shocked, doesn't it? Stunned.
The proud men wearing a proud uniform with a proud tradition. And all that pride has been knocked out tonight.
Looks like it may be it for Greg, because the hand is obviously bothering him. Trainer, Gene Monahan's gone out. He'll leave the game.
Well, if indeed he has a hairline fracture, Jim, it was remarkable that he got the 2 hits he did.
Well, you're not as great a player as Greg Nettles is without having a lot of guts, and he certainly showed it tonight. And you could see him in batting practice before the game, as you said. Had tremendous trouble hitting any ball on the inside part of the plate. But he knew that the Yankees had to win tonight, and certainly did his best.
It's defined as a small, incomplete fracture of the right thumb. Rodriguez goes in to run for him and will play third base.
Running for Nettles, number 27, Aurelio Rodriguez.
The batter is Rick Cerrone. And the pitch misses. First ball 1. Burt has a long look at Dick Stello on that call, but it's ball 2. 3-2 now to Cerrone. Rodriguez on first. Foul. Hooton walks Cerrone.
The shortstop,
Burt Hooton has now thrown 100 pitches. You have 1 out and 2 on in the bottom of the 6th inning. Milburn looks at low for a ball. Rick Russell is in the on-deck circle, but with only 1 out, and Hooton struggling right now with his control. Rudy May is back in the New York bullpen, cranking up in a hurry. Outside, ball 2. Here comes Tom Lasorda out of the dugout. That's what, 102 pitches now for Happy. So they'll talk, and we'll see if Lasorda wants to make the move now, or if he'll give Welch and Howe a little more time. Rick Russell is in the Yankee on-deck circle. Bob Lemon refusing to tip his hand as to which man he might call on. Obviously, he wants Lasorda to make the move. Tom is not, at this point, ready to make it.
Well, again, that's very good strategy. He comes out with 2 balls if Hooton would happen to lose this hitter. Then Bob Lemon has to make a move with his pinch hitter, and he can either come with a right-hander or the left-hander. If he waits till this Milbourne is either walked or gets a base hit, then Lemon has the upper hand in strategy.
Ball 3, 3 balls and no strikes to Milbourne. You've got 1 out. You've got Rodriguez at second, Cerrone at first. 8-1 Dodgers. Hooton struggling now. 3-1. Walked in, the bases are loaded. Gamble comes out, picks up the sledgehammer.
And if Tommy's doing his job, he would wait till Oscar's announced.
He is announced. So Gamble is official, and Tom Lasorda will make a pitching change. 8-1, timeout on the field.
Whoever wants to know the heart and mind of America had better learn baseball. Baseball fever. Catch it. It's worth it.
The preceding message was furnished by Major League Baseball.
Young Steve Howe has come on in relief of Burt Hooton. And a note on Howe. He has faced 15 batters in the series. Only twice has he had to throw more than 4 pitches to a batter. Oscar Gamble was announced as the Yankee hitter. Now it is Lou Piniella, who will come out hitting right-handed, who has had a remarkable series as a hitter. Up the middle, base hit. Rodriguez scores. Cerrone will come. Nope, he does not come. Took the big turn, and Joe Altobelli, the third base coach, flagged him down. Bases are still loaded.
Here you see a fastball in the middle of the plate. Piniella, as he's done all series, goes with the pitch and just wraps it up the middle.
Completely professional batsman.
Not too good a base running, Howard. There is no way that Kenny Landreau is coming up and throwing that ball to home plate, because if you do that and you make a bad throw, you allow 2 other runners to get into scoring position.
Don't understand stopping the man at third.
Nope. And I can understand some sense of, I guess, restraint, but
that's what happens when you're really down. You begin to play tentatively, afraid to make one single mistake in any direction.
Willie Randolph, big night for Willie, a double and a home run and a walk. 2 balls and no strikes for Randolph. Now the Yankee home folks take a little heart. Bases are loaded, and Ron Peronoski, the Dodger pitching coach, on the way to the mound to talk to young Steve Howe.
But the one, I think, important thing that Tommy Lasorda has done, and there you see Terry Forrester, the left-hander, and Bob Welch, the right-hander, is gotten Oscar Gamble out of the game. And they've also used Bobby Mercer. They don't have the left-handed power that they would normally have on their bench.
You still have 1 out, a run in, bases loaded. Ball is hit to right. Guerrero flags it down. Runner tags to third and does not come. Good throw by Guerrero. That's 2 out. I think Lou was a little upset because the man didn't come from third.
That's what Lou Piniella, you might have observed, just said. Worst base running I've ever seen.
Humphrey hitting from the right side takes ball 1.
Well, if there ever was a statistic kept for the worst base running in 4 consecutive games, I think the Yankees would qualify.
Cynthia now. The 1-2 pitch to Humphrey. Loop to right. Guerrero makes the catch. The Yankees leave the bases full. And so after 6 innings, in game number 6, 8-2 Dodgers. Back with more after this from our local stations. Lou Piniella, having delivered the pinch hit single, the ball is lined to right by Willie Randolph. Piniella turns and sees the base runner at third, has not made the move to home plate, and reflects total exasperation. Rudy May now comes on to pitch for New York, and he is the 5th pitcher in the ball game.
Well, the purists of baseball going to be hard put to find art in this.
Steve Howell.
If you want the truth.
Steve Howell will bat. Having come in from the bullpen and did his job. Dodgers lead it 8-2 and bat here in the top of the 7th inning. Rudy May, strike on the corner. Fouled away, and it's 2 strikes on the Dodger pitcher, Steve Howell. Steve's gone. Strikeout for May. 1 out, and Lopes will come. The Dodgers in the 5-game series against Houston, down 0-2 to win 3 in a row at home. Back to the wall. Monday hits a home run on a cold day in Montreal over the center field fence in the League Championship Series. Hooton, the MVP in the League Championship Series. They come to New York. They lose 2. And now they are on the verge of winning their first World Championship since 1965. Lopes takes it high. The Goodyear Blimp America providing the visuals from the sky tonight out of Houston, Texas, with our cameraman Charlie Mitchell and the pilot captain Larry Chambers. Good-looking fella from Spring, Texas. May at 2-0 to Lopes, comes inside to make it 3 balls and no strikes. Ball 4. Certainly a soft underbelly.
The shortstop, Bill
It's going to be
Russell.
very hard to pick the MVP in this series. Always presuming the Dodgers win it, which seems so apparent now, especially after the Yankee debacle in the last game. That base running. Guerrero's got to be considered with 7 RBIs. Say's got to be considered with 6 RBIs. Came back from a beating. Yeager's got to be considered. And on the basis of overall consistency, Garvey's got to be considered.
Runner goes. Ball hit to Milburn. Lopes in at second base. On the hit and run, they throw out Russell at first. 2 out. Davey at the turn for Steve Garvey. High in the air to center. Humphrey. Inning is over. In the middle of the 7th, Los Angeles 8, New York 2. There is a good deal of the story right there in this World Series. Now it'll be Dave Winfield, Reggie Jackson, and Bob Watson for New York, trailing by 6 and hitting in the bottom of the 7th against Steve Howe. High bouncer to short. 1 out.
Now you hear the boo birds, and certainly Winfield feels terribly. But in perfect truth, this Yankee team, well, Willie Randolph's trying to clap it up a little bit, but they have been flat, listless. They look like a team all day that came, all evening, that came to be beaten, Jim.
Well, they say pitching's anywhere from 75 and 90% of the game, and tonight they made a really what turned out to be a monumental decision. Pinch hit for Tommy John. George Frazier came in, did not, again, for the 3rd time this series, pitched that poorly, but circumstances allowed the Dodgers to put 3 runs on the board. It came back with a 4-run inning. Anytime your pitching staff gives up 8 runs, it's tough to look good as a team.
Struck him out.
Now Jackson gets it from the fans.
Might be the last time you'll see Reggie in a Yankee uniform. Could be.
Not the kind of aftermath you'd expect to the exciting 3 consecutive games in Los Angeles.
Bob Watson fouls it away. Well, I tell you, you get into a street fight with these Dodgers with the speed they have and the power they have. And if you don't have good pitching, and Houston has good pitching, and Houston couldn't beat them. They couldn't put them down.
Interesting you mentioned Houston. Before the game, let's watch this.
To Russell at shortstop. Handles it well. And throws out Watson. So Steve Howe gets New York in order in the bottom of the 7th, and after 7, 8-2 Dodgers. To the top of the 8th inning we go, in a ball game that is now long, all things considered. But then when you've scored 10 runs, it takes a while. Darrell Thomas, Dusty Baker, and Pedro Guerrero. Randolph, 1 out.
Left fielder, Dusty Baker.
You can see
Stands
that
half empty now. People pouring out by the droves.
Dusty Baker popped him up for Randolph. 2 out.
The right fielder, Pedro Guerrero.
So Rudy May summoned out of the pen as the 5th New York pitcher. Done a job. Here's one of the fellows, very much a prime candidate for the MVP award. A bit slow to get started, but once he got his engine running, he's been tough.
Fine-looking young hitter.
And Ron Say.
But sentimentally and for his performance and for his courage, I'd vote for Ron Say.
Low inside, 2 balls and 1 strike.
What about you, Jim?
Yeah, I think I'd go with him. He turned the whole series around. Trailing 2-0, hit the 3-run home run off for Getty.
What about you, Keith?
I agree. That ball is well hit in the corner. Winfield loping over, and it's in the seats. It's a home run. Well, Pedro Guerrero. Will there be some call for a second ballot here?
Might have to take another look. Clutch home run to tie the game Sunday. Tremendous day today. 5 runs batted in.
You see him hit a curveball.
It was well hit. So the Dodger right-handed power did find the seats in Yankee Stadium tonight, didn't it? Also, Guerrero's triple found the wall at 4:30. Pitch to Landreau.
I didn't see Dave back at the fence leaping for that one, which is not meant by way of criticism. Maybe he just couldn't have gotten there. The ball got there so fast.
Well, he hit that ball with a lot of topspin, and it looked like he really misjudged it because he went to the line and the ball actually went out a little bit to right center. That could have something to do with the wind. Just barely got in there. Normally, as you said, you see him trying to make an effort to catch that ball.
Landreau is called out looking, but the Dodgers add another run. And the lead is big for Los Angeles. Back after this word from our local station.
The entire meaning of baseball is time. Baseball is how we get even with those relentless seconds and minutes and hours of life. While the game is being played, time miraculously changes. Baseball fever. Catch it. It's worth it.
The preceding message was furnished by Major League Baseball.
Rodriguez for New York in the bottom of the 8th. Then it'll be Cerrone and Milburn. In the meantime, the Dodger faithful are starting to put on their dancing shoes. Steve Howe in relief of Burt Hooton, trying to save it for him. 9-2.
As Howe pitches to Rodriguez, Keith, I was mentioning before, John McMullen, who owns the Houston Astros, is here tonight. Talking with him before the game, he said, we thought we really had the Dodgers on the hook this year, but they have a way of scratching and clawing and coming back. And he said by the time we reached the 5th game and we were tied 2-2 after the 2-0 lead.
Stroke going to drop in for a base hit.
By the time we reached the 5th game after the 2-0 lead, he said, I got a call early in the morning of the 5th game from a psychic. And I took the call. And I began to do the things the psychic said I should do. And he said that didn't help. He lost with Nolan Ryan.
That's foul back by Cerrone. Pedro Guerrero has stepped into some pretty fancy company in World Series history with his 5 runs batted in this game. How about Messrs. Lazzari, Dickey, and Kluszewski?
Big clue.
Ball is hit in the air to right center field and caught by Guerrero.
It changed my vote. It's Guerrero. He's just playing brilliantly. So many repercussions to this season as it winds down. Those watching this in Cincinnati probably bitter over the fact that their club had the best record in the National League, feeling they should have been in there, the best season-long record.
Here's Milburn with 1 out, and Rodriguez at first base. Popped up on the right side for Davy Lopes. 2 down, and here comes Bobby Brown to the plate.
That young man won't have a happy memory of this series. He is young. He is a great athlete, and other great ones have gone through this kind of thing. Referring to these 2 teams, I remember when Gil Hodges didn't get a hit 20 times at bat or more. It was an horrendous series for the late Mr. Hodges. He came out of it
Go back to 1971 when we played the Pirates. Willie Stargell was one of those streaks where just could not hit the ball. And you go back to 1979, and who was the dominant player of that World Series? Right. Willie Stargell.
Willie Stargell. Very good analogy.
We had Clay Dalrymple in 71 as one of our catchers, and he said when Stargell gets in one of those, I guess, slumps, he just doesn't pick up the ball. Dave pitched Winfield well. He's helped him out by being very impatient, but I'm sure he'll have another chance sometime.
Brown swinging a miss for 1-2 count. 2 out, and Rodriguez on first. Steve Howe. Foul tip held by Yeager. Brown is gone. Yankees are out at the end of 8 innings of play. The score is the Los Angeles Dodgers 9, the New York Yankees 2. Dave LaRoche in warming up for New York. Scoring summary goes this way. Back to the third. Randolph a home run. 1-0 New York. 4th inning. Baker single. Monday 2-out single. Yeager an RBI single. Tied it at 1. Then into the 5th inning. The rundown on it there is New York made it a 4-1 ball game. And Guerrero's 2-run triple, the big blow. In the 6th inning, the Dodgers pretty much put it away, running it out to 8-1. And then Guerrero's home run makes it 9-2 as the Yankees got their second run in the 6th inning. And then some very tentative base running denied them an obvious opportunity to at least have 3 runs on the board. But we are at 9-2, and here we go in the top of the 9th. Dave LaRoche, one of 2 New York players not used prior to tonight in the World Series, the other being Dave Reverie. The one Dodger has not been used is Alejandro. Oh, there's the blooper from LaRoche. Might as well add that.
Yeah. Try to get a laugh out of it.
Who threw that blooper pitch in the old days? Rip Sewell? Or?
Yep, threw it, Rip Sewell.
Yep. Did Williams hit the home run in the All-Star game off it, or do you recall that?
Yeah.
Yeager fouls it away.
Ted belted it. I think it was in Tiger Stadium in 41, I believe. He had a tremendous All-Star.
To the right side, late break. But the catch is made by Reggie.
Well, for Righetti, there'll be many more seasons. No question about him. He had an unfortunate outing Friday against Fernando Valenzuela, who himself was shaky but came on strongly in the late innings. But Righetti, he can pitch. He's got a great future.
Steve Howe swinging and missing. Dodgers at bat, top of the 9th. One last chance for New York, and they trail by 7. Two strikes. And forever and a day, they're going to talk about Bob Lemon lifting Tommy John after 4 innings in a 1-1 ball game. Foul back.
Especially painful for Bob Lemon. Hi there. Must be the open disagreement and dismay of John at being removed.
Howe strikes out. That's 2 down.
There is Bob.
The second baseman, Davey Lopes.
Now Dave Lopes with the crowd. Majority of them gone. We had at one time 56,513 in the ballpark. With 2 away, Davey takes Hine away for ball 1.
I doubt there are 20,000 here now.
I don't think so either. The Yankees will have Randolph, Mumphrey, Winfield. The 4th man would be Jackson in the bottom of the 9th inning. on a cold night on the edge of winter in the Bronx of New York. The Dodgers have battered the Yankees. Lopes pops it up, out of play on the right side. And the count is 1-2 now on Baby. The blooper. Lopes Cerrone dropped it and throws it up.
Well, he couldn't resist it, could he? Yeah. At the very end, LaRoche put his act together, and he's taken it on the road.
He gets the Dodgers in order in the top of the ninth. One last gasp remaining for the Yankees.
It's a pleasure for me to introduce Tommy Lasorda.
This is the greatest day of my life in baseball. To be selected as the manager of an organization that I love so dearly.
Well, the America sailing overhead. Barry Chambers flying her. Charlie Mitchell giving you the picture. And here we'll go as young Steve Howe is going to try to set the Yankees down, and then the Dodgers are going to have, how shall I say this, a heck of a party.
Well, I don't think Tommy, excuse me, Lasorda can eat too much. I had lunch with him today, and he had a Frankfurter omelet. And I don't think it's set. Yeah, I never heard of it before. Chewed it up, and I don't think it's set too well.
Undoubtedly, a Dodger dog.
Digestive system.
Willie Randolph with a home run and a double tonight.
Well, there's an old baseball phrase where you're kind of reserved for games like this, 9 in the 9th. And that's about what it's going to take to win. Kind of always jokingly say that on the bench. But it's happened before.
Well, it's a left-hander and a right-hander in the Los Angeles bullpen. I would imagine that's Messrs. Forster and Welch. Two balls and a strike to Willie Randolph. See the information there on Willie. He's put his name in the World Series record book. Fouls it away. And the few who remain up in the upper decks scuffle for a souvenir. Cynthia Ann Howe, wed just over a year to the young man out on the mound, a man from Michigan. Pitches outside, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Speaking of Michigan, an old, good, and long-time friend left us, Bob Uford, so many years. The radio voice of the Michigan Wolverines. Michigan, Michigan, Michigan. How much fun he was. We'll all miss him.
Randolph has certainly gotten on, Keith. Breaks the record of the Babe. 9 walks. Meantime, Peter O'Malley has just reserved Chasen's for the celebration party.
They drew over $2 million in a short season. There's a strike to Mumphrey. Might have broken their own record. The Dodgers had 1 in the 4th to tie the Yankees at 1-1 after New York had scored in the bottom of the 3rd. Got 3 more in the 5th and 4 in the 6th, 1 in the 8th. That's how we have a 9-2 score with the Yankee run coming in the bottom of the 6th, the 2nd. Mumphrey swings and strikes out. Bob Uecker will be in the Dodger clubhouse, and undoubtedly when he comes to get in the car, he's going to be sopping wet. Dave Winfield.
All the frustration of the remaining Yankee fans here comes out against Dave Winfield. Now there are mutterings about all the money he was paid and all of the rest. Human nature.
Well, I know our club in Baltimore.
Yankee fans, by the way, should be congratulated. They behaved beautifully here tonight. There was a
high, towering fly ball to right field. Guerrero. 2 down.
There was a frisbee and an orange, and nothing else as I can remember. Right, Keith?
So far.
Behaved very beautiful.
Now Reggie with one more cut.
Fans are chanting Reggie. Those relative few are still here, perhaps remembering all the heroics and sensing that, look at them, that this is the last time, or could be.
Out of play.
And Reggie, with an instinct, a flair for the dramatic, undoubtedly aware of the very same possibility. Still no word on the MVP.
We'll probably get it. In fact, we will get it in the clubhouse. Well, Steve Howe has the edge. 2 strikes, and Cynthia is about to fly out of here. Two-strike pitch to Jackson. 1-2.
Rick Cerrone, as we pan down the Yankee bench, Ron Davis, Steve Rigetti, Charlie Lau just walked by, Barry Foote with the mustache, the big brush mustache.
Foul tip, bangs off Yeager's face mask.
Maybe it's fitting that Reggie be up there now. Such have been the nature of this man's heroics that I reached a point where the fans here at Yankee Stadium thought that every World Series he could do what he did once. Hit 3 home runs on 3 swings in a game, and maybe in a couple of games.
1-2. 2-2. Foul to the right, out of play.
5 years he's been a Yankee. Years of turbulence, squabbles with Martin, squabbles with the owner, George Steinbrenner, but somehow always with the capacity to come through. This year, a great decline in his batting average, and finally the greatest struggle of all, the struggle with himself, the struggle with self-doubt, the struggle with worry. Was it to be all over for him? And now this.
2-2 with 2 out in the bottom of the 9th. Well, they're stretching the string as tight as they can in the final moment. 3-2. Lopes over, boots it, picks it up, safe.
And Reggie hobbling, limping. That calf muscle problem that disabled him, apparently rearing its head again. But he gave it all he had going down that baseline.
See Randolph scooting by there with 2 out. Willie is on second base now. Reggie is on first base.
And that's when he did it. That last long stride.
Davy Lopes apparently has got some dust or something in his eye because he going down trying to dig the ball out. You see the dirt flying around. Davey is coming to the dugout. They're going to give him an error on the play. Did he hurt himself? They may get Steve Sachs out to play second base. As Davey walked to the dugout with a great deal of purpose and disappeared. However, he will be part of a championship team, and whatever manner of record you might consider errors in a series and in a game, his pain will be alleviated considerably by the ring he'll wear on his hand.
You wonder at that moment what Steve Garvey and Reggie Jackson might be talking about, Jim.
Looked like they were talking about the ground ball that Lopes missed, that it stayed down, but no, yeah, knowing Reggie could be anything.
Comes back now. Lopes is back out of the dugout. I think he had a face full of dirt.
Garvey might have asked him what size uniform he wears.
Dodgers, eh? I doubt it.
I don't know about that. They're still smarting over the GOAT Stenhouse field.
That they are.
Bob Watson with 2 on in a 9-2 ball game with 2 out of the bottom of the 9th inning, and Steve Howe throws it high.
The ending is typical of the whole game. Sloppy. From the Yankee point of view.
Welch continues to throw in the Los Angeles bullpen. Watson hits it high in the air. For the center fielder, Ken Landreau, this should do it. The Dodgers are the 1981 champions of baseball.
And so there has not been usual noise making. It became apparent midway in the game, almost with the departure of Tommy John, that the Dodgers would take command. Now the Dodgers leave the field. Keith, I think it's time to Jim, you and me, jointly to congratulate them on their acquisition of the World Series championship. Lasorda, kissing Peter O'Malley too, for that matter, but Mrs. O'Malley and everybody else. For the first time in history, we have a 3-way tie for the MVP. Guerrero, Say, and Steve Yeager. And under any circumstances, all 3 were worthy contenders. Each contributed in his own way. Sentimentally, maybe Ron Say the most. But anyway, Keith, there it is.
Let's join Bob Uecker now in the Dodger clubhouse as the Dodgers win it 9-2, 4 games to 2.
Thank you very much, guys, upstairs. And we're standing here in a very, very happy Dodger clubhouse, and we are awaiting the arrival of Mr. Peter O'Malley, Al Campanis, and Dodger manager Tommy Lasorda. And standing alongside me, the commissioner of baseball, Mr. Bowie Kuhn, who will make this presentation very, very shortly here in a very, very happy Dodger clubhouse. Bowie?
No question about it. It's an exultant Dodger clubhouse, an outstanding comeback win for the Dodgers, who came back from everything this year.
You know, it seemed the last 3 series, the Houston, Montreal series, and then falling behind the Yankees 2-0, it seems that's what it took for this Dodger ball club to come back.
I think that's right. They seem to face the challenge. They're veteran ball players. They're not put down by being behind. They face the challenge. They came back.
Well, we're waiting for Tommy Lasorda here. Tommy, I'm going to grab Tom Lasorda over here. Tommy Lasorda.
Congratulations, Skipper.
Nice going, kid. Tommy Lasorda. We're waiting for Peter O'Malley, the president of the Los Angeles Dodgers, along with Al Campanis, the vice president of player personnel, making their way into the Dodger clubhouse here. A very, very happy Dodger clubhouse, as you can well imagine. And Tommy, we talked just a moment ago about the fact that it seemed that the Dodgers had to be 2 down before they could come back and regroup.
It's a great victory. This is something that has escaped us for a long time. And we wanted that championship so bad. We wanted to bring it back for Peter and his sister Terry. Those are the people that have been great to us. Al Campanis. I want to thank all the Dodgers, all the Dodger organization, everyone who played such a vital role in this victory. What a tremendous win.
Hang on just a second here, Tommy. We have Mr. Peter O'Malley coming up here, the president of the Los Angeles Dodgers Baseball Club. Peter, come on up here. You got to come up here. You might as well jump in here right away. And where's Al Campanis? You got to get up here. You might as well jump in here. And we got to make the presentation here, Mr. Commissioner. Here's Al Campanis. How you doing? Come on up here. And the Commissioner of Baseball now with the presentation of the World Championship Trophy. We get Tommy Lasorda back up here again. Tom, come on back up here. And the presentation now, Mr. Kuhn, if you want to go ahead here and wrap it on right now.
All right, to Peter O'Malley, to Al Campanis, and to this great skipper, Tommy Lasorda, I am very proud to present you the trophy, standing right here.
Hey, tastes great!
I'm proud to present you this trophy, emblematic of the 1981 World Championship. And boy, you guys deserved it. You worked all the way to get it. Tremendous comeback win.
Thank you, Commissioner. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And I just want to say this. All of us feel that we work for a great boss, Peter O'Malley.
Thank you very much. It's a great...
Hello, everybody. I'm Paul Moyer and Ted Dawson.
I think you're going to love it, huh, Paul?
And we are live here at the Sports Deli in Century City. They may not be dancing in the streets of New York, but they're dancing here tonight,
I'll tell you, Paul, a lot of people say that L.A. fans aren't very energetic. This hardly proves that, doesn't it?
Absolutely. These people have been going crazy here all night, leading cheers and hollering and screaming. And we're going to be here live with Eye on L.A. Teddy, who would ever thought it they'd come back like this?
I'll tell you, when they were down 0-2 to Houston, they were down 1-2 to Montreal, they were down 0-2 to the Yankees. A lot of people never gave up. Obviously, Tommy Lasorda never gave up. These people never gave up. We, of course, will have all the highlights for you later.
All right, I can hardly hear you talk or hear myself talk. We're going to have the whole program. We'll be back live out on Eye on L.A. Ted Dawson, Paul Moyer. Now back to the ABC Television Network.
Let's go back to the clubhouse.
Here they are, Commissioner, and again, I'll turn it back over to you.
Okay. We have something we've never had before. We have 3 winners of the Most Valuable Player Award, and I think it's very fitting for the great teamwork of the Dodgers that the Sport Magazine and Major League Baseball award to the most valuable players should go to 3 men. Pedro Guerrero, Ron Cey, and Steve Garvey. And I want to congratulate you all. A tremendous accomplishment, a real team effort, and you deserve the trophy. We're going to have some more to get around all 3 of you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Commissioner, would like to thank you. Would like to thank our 10th man around the country, the Dodger fans, the great fans of Southern California. We want people to know that we won this World Series. The 3rd time was a charm for us, and we thank everyone, and we thank God.
Ron Cey, step up here, Ron. I think, you surprised everybody by coming back to play tonight. And I got to ask you, when you made the decision to play, you were originally in the starting lineup, but when did you finally decide to play?
Well, Bob, I came to the park telling them that everything I had done preliminarily had turned out all right. I told Tommy to put me in the lineup. If I couldn't make it, I'd tell him. I had to go through the entire workout, have everything worked out before I was going to make that decision, and I'm just glad that it worked out. I got a little dizzy running around the bases at one inning where we broke it open to 4-1, and the lightheadedness wouldn't go away for me, so I decided it probably time to take a bow. So it's just great. I can't tell you what this means to all of us.
And we get Steve Yeager here. Where is he? Here he is, right here. Steve Yeager, a man who had an outstanding World Series, Steve, and I know you're very, very happy.
I know you're proud of me because old catchers stick together, right? I'd say I'm very excited. It's been a great pleasure for me to play and be a part of this ball club all year long, and not playing very much. And the young Mike Stokes are doing most of the catching, and I get a chance to play in a World Series, and we win. And I'd tell you, I feel like I'm up here. It's going to be a long night ahead of me.
Congratulations, Steve. Now let's go to Jim Lampley and Lou Piniella.
Thanks very much, Bob. Obviously, the atmosphere in this dressing room is quite different, quiet, but not completely mournful, professional, as you would expect from people with the experience that these guys have. With me, Lou Piniella, and Lou, there was a moment during the ball game in the 6th inning. Your team mounted a threat, and Rick Cerrone was not sent from third base on a fly ball to right field. At that moment, you seemed extremely frustrated. Were you upset about base running in particular, or was it just generally the frustration of the series?
No, I wasn't upset about base running at all. It's just the way the ball game went. We were blown out. We really didn't expect that. And it was more frustration than anything else. But I'd like to congratulate the Dodgers. They've been together as a unit for a long time. They've had some rocky roads here in '77 and '78. And they played very well. And you can't win them all. I'm just sorry that we lost. But I'd rather lose here than lose down the line like other clubs did. And hopefully this club will be back next year.
They turned it around and did to you what you did in '78, winning the last 4 after losing the first 2. There will be a lot of second-guessing of a lot of moves that were made during this series. One of them was Bob Lemon's removal of Tommy John after 4 innings tonight. What was the general feeling on the ball club and your feeling about that move?
Well, I'm not the manager, and I can't make moves. Bob gets paid to manage, and he decided that Bobby Mercer could give us a quick lift. It didn't work at the time, although Bobby hit the ball well. But that's not when we lost the series. We go back to Game 4. We go back to Game 5. We didn't do the job in L.A. We let the Dodgers right back in the series. I think that was the telling tale, Game 4 and Game 5 specifically. But, yes, the Dodgers have played so well this series. Everybody talks about how many mistakes we did. Let's give them credit, and they're world champions, and tip our hats to them. They've been together for a long time, like I said before. They're a bunch of professionals. They're a bunch of experienced pros, and it showed. We just didn't do the job. They did. I congratulate them.
Okay, thanks very much for spending time with us, Lou, in a difficult moment. We appreciate it. Keith?
All right, Jim, thank you very much. The final score tonight, the Los Angeles Dodgers 9, New York Yankees 2. The Dodgers are the world champions of baseball for 1981.
Game 5 was a pitcher's duel between Ron Guidry and Jerry Royce, and the Dodgers found themselves trailing 1-0 in the 7th inning. And one batter later, the score changed again. Jerry Royce handled the rest, going all the way to earn the Dodgers the win and the edge in the series, heading back to New York.
The Dodgers lead it 3 games to 2. Last week, when the Yankees had won 2 in a row, it seemed they were in total command. Question is, will they have their boys back in their home ballpark tonight?
I felt that before the game even started, it was our time to win. We were in Yankee Stadium, and the fans knew it. It was quiet as could be.
What a difference 3 days can make. Reading the media, it's a chicken team. They were dead. Some chicken team, these Dodgers.
I remember the way the game progressed and the lead we had.
Guerrero hits it high, hits it deep to left center field. Mumphrey on his horse, going, can't get it. The Dodgers have got the big inning going, and it's becoming a blowout.
Finally, in the last inning with 2 outs, there's a euphoria that takes over.
There are the Dodgers, 1 out away.
This is finally the moment that you're going to be a world champion.
Watson hits it high in the air. This should do it. The Dodgers are the 1981 champions of baseball.
1981 may have been a season interrupted, but beginning with Fernando Mania and ending with the Dodgers championship, it still somehow felt complete.
Muchos jugadores, tremendos jugadores, nunca ganaron una serie mundial. Entonces para mí significa bastante, ya que es mi primer año, novato, ganar una serie mundial. Es lo máximo.
In the top of the 6th, the Dodgers had 4 more runs off a Yankee bullpen once thought to be invincible. The Dodgers are pouring it on. Nothing will stop them now, not even another gem by Greg Nettles. Relievers yield 8 Dodger runs, and now Steve Howe looks ready to end the Yankees' misery. How fitting that Reggie Jackson should have the last chance. But Davey Lope's 6th series error delays the celebration. For the 5th time in history, the Dodgers are World Series champions. It's only the 2nd time a team has swept 4 straight after losing the first 2. But after several frustrating near misses, this resilient team with its uncommon resolve was not to be denied. The secret to this Dodger uprising? Well, perhaps it's that rare blend of exuberance, class, and character. The Dodgers took turns sharing the October spotlight, and 3 World Series MVPs were chosen. Ron Cey, who keyed the comeback, represents a Dodger infield that's been together 9 seasons. Pedro Guerrero in games 5 and 6 produced a double, triple, 2 homers, and 6 RBIs. And Steve Yeager earned his share of the award with 2 game winners. The Dodgers' autumn uprising gave resounding proof of the team's unconquerable will to win. And so the unshakable faith of the Dodgers and their devoted followers brings Los Angeles the 1981 World Championship.